Gemini, welcome. My name is Drew and this is the Indigo Void. I'll be doing your general reading for September 14th until the 21st. I'll be doing a 10-card Celtic spread for you along with a 3-card on 3-card with mutual energy of the You Against the World spread and an Indigo Angel Oracle deck by Dorian Virtue at the end of the reading. I really appreciate you being here and being along with me as I grow on this journey of doing tarot on YouTube. Really ironing out the kinks here, getting better at looking at the camera and talking clearly. I had a lot of issues with that. I was really critical of myself watching my videos last week, but I'm really getting into it. I really appreciate your patience with me because I really enjoy doing this. Really enjoy being able to help people and getting perspective, because all this information I'm getting through all these videos, it's advice I can follow for myself. Everybody has aspects of Gemini, so if you have Gemini in your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Ascendant, Venus, whatever, or the house that you're trying to listen to, if you have Gemini in the 6th house, or if you have Gemini in the 5th house like I do, maybe it'll apply to that house, but if you have any planets especially, or if you just have curiosity about that aspect of your life. So at the center of the reading, we have the Knight of Pentacles crossed by the 5 of Pentacles. Sorry, I misspoke. So at the center, we have the Knight crossed by the 5 of Pentacles. Above you is the 6 of Pentacles. Below you is the Queen of Cups. And your recent history is the Moon. And then your future is the 7 of Cups. Your advice is the Knight of Cups. How others see you is the 3 of Pentacles. Your hopes and fears is the Queen of Wands. And the outcome is the Page of Cups. Alright, so the Knight of Pentacles, it seems like money's on the focus right here. At the same time, is that, something slow and valuable, but also worth your time and sustainable is on its way to you. Or that's how you could be approaching a situation, whatever, feeling like things aren't moving fast enough, but knowing that it's an investment that could possibly pay off, and it's okay to be skeptical. Geminis are like, these fast thought, information gathering signs, and it's not very, especially with Mercury being the fastest planet that goes around our zodiac other than the Moon, it can be really nerve-wracking for the Knight of Pentacles energy, because it's going so slow and we're not used to, if results don't happen right now, it's probably not going to happen. And to me, that's the miracle of manifestation, is by almost thinking about something and then letting it go, and sometimes even giving up really brings it to us. That's really what helps people get out of their head, and things happen as soon as you stop focusing on them. And that's how I can see you're feeling with the 5 of Pentacles energy, because it's almost like you're having to leave something behind you've established, or this opportunity with the Knight of Pentacles, whatever. It's almost so slow where you have to leave something you've established, a home, a situation, having to leave behind the finer things in life, or a habit, or hobbies, or ways you spent your time, or how you spent your money, or things you did, or people recognize you as. And it's almost, you have this inner feeling of shame where sure, that's how you want to look on the outside, but on the inside, whatever, you have this panicking feeling of something not arriving in time to save you. Or it's going to maintain a lifestyle or habit or a process. This is almost like thinking, for my hobby, it's like I defeated my depression by painting, and I don't have enough money to buy paint supplies, and everybody recognizes me for my talent. People always tell me I'm a very good painter, but I can't afford my paint anymore. And then what do I do for my self-worth? What do I do for my time? How do I was my depression going to come back? I'm in fear of having to face those demons again, and because maybe I never really dealt with those demons or the circumstances, and I put so much emphasis and value on this, this process or what I invested in, and now I'm having to walk away from it, and whatever's coming in, to replace it is just taking so long, or I don't see it. Maybe it's just, maybe I need to keep on focusing for it and finding something new, and those reoccurring thoughts could be in your mind right now, because above you is the 6 of Pentacles here. Is it's obvious to you that you're having to pray to the universe for guidance and charity in a sense. And I'm not saying you're having to beg somebody for money, but if you are, it could be very nerve-wracking. You could be feeling okay, this is the only way I have to do it. I have I'm one of those people now that's in the middle, on the island of the highway, or the island of the street lights. I'm asking people with change, whatever, saying, hey man, I'll wash your car for $10 sort of situation. Sure, I see, but if it's not that, it's feeling like I put in my time, I'm valuable. At the same time, I have a lot of things to do, I have accomplishments, I just don't have the capital at the minute. So or I'm a good person, maybe I spent my last $5 taking my friend to the hospital, and I sure I saved his life or whatever, but he's broken, doesn't have any money, and or maybe you're paying for somebody's medical bills, and I've had to take a lot of time off work, or my business is shut down because I'm being responsible to save other people's lives, and having to say like, what do I get for all this stuff? I've been so good, I've done so much to get back, and I'm a good person, but why? When is the universe gonna? Do I feel? Am I worthy to get things back for the universe for the effort I put into being a person that I am? And inside is the Queen of Cups. Deep inside you, below you, I would say in the reading, a little bit less recognized, a more subtle. Whereas the Six of Pentacles is more obvious. The Queen of Pentacles energy is, being able to have that, self-belief. I can see that you understand that charity will come, especially if you have history of, understanding that it's just the way it works. If you're old enough in life, you just understand that, there's plenty of times where we thought we would have died or not survived, or we'd have lost our home or who we were, or situations that we survived in. The Queen of Pentacles to me is somebody that's, has a strong emotional health, and it could be very upsetting to people around them because, people that are selfish with their emotions to maintain their emotional health and their thought processes and how they feel about certain situations, but also, embodying like a good day on the worst day ever, like, on the doomsday, there's 2 minutes to midnight, and somebody's just, sitting back and having a glass of wine and saying, well, I'm just going to enjoy the last 2 minutes. That's the Queen of Pentacles, or Queen of Cups energy for me. Somebody that's really well balanced and is okay with, shunning others around them to make sure they protect their own emotional energy. It's saying missing the party because the party's not going to make me feel better. I can make myself feel better. I find self-worth and self-respect through myself, whatever, through how I invest in myself emotionally. And sometimes you can close people out. Sometimes you can be secretive. Sometimes you can say, it's like, if I just stay inside and I keep on nurturing myself, whatever, I don't allow you to piss me off and throw me off kilter. If I don't date this person over here, whatever, they're not going to hurt me. And so I can just stay comfortable with myself, whatever, and not, let them, enter my life, and when they hurt me and my emotions are all out of whack and stuff. So this energy of, having this, inner river, this keeping the flow going, and that you understand that everything's an emotionally to it, and that's how you really accomplish a lot. You can really accomplish a lot of success by just simply feeling it first, and then, the outside reflects the inside, and the inside reflects the outside. So if you're in a stressful situation, just embody that calm energy, feel as if it's already over with. And as tricky as that can be, it's a skill worth mastering. Feel things before you actually have them. Try it. If you haven't tried it before, it's really hard. And if you can do it naturally, props to you. It took me a very long time to embody success and feel happy about things before they were, because my world was crumbling around me. And then one day I just woke up one day and said, I'm deciding I'm going to be happy no matter what happens. And in the recent history, we'll go with the Moon card, which is letting you know that you've had to deal with, like, an uncertain situation. Just having to have faith in something working out. I not able to understand through clarity. It's just a different way of looking at things. With the Moon, it's just it's tricky to define with me. Because it's just so murky and easy to misunderstand. Where just one of those tarot cards where it's just like, what? It could be anybody's guess here, what you're going through, what you're experiencing. It's just, it might as well be a goddamn question mark on this card to me, because it doesn't really give me any clarity, but it's just knowing this, like, this interfering, like, it's like this universal energy that we experience it manifests through our life in coincidences. So you might have dealt with, a number of coincidences here that didn't make any sense to you, or maybe they did, or you can just build them away if you weren't aware of the Moon card energy, which is the subconscious. If you were to say, no, it's just a coincidence this is happening, or it's just all these bad things lining up, or whatever, because subconsciously I have all these negative thought processes that I don't know how to work with, or I do, and it could be all this, this feeling of, like damn, like I've experienced this before, but I can't remember, or maybe like, a dream come true, a nightmare come to reality in a sense. Moving on with the next card is the near future. We can see the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups, it's just really tricky here, like, having to pray for emotional inspiration, having that, developing that faith through, like, turmoil. It shakes up our world here. Sometimes when we have to lose something that we, like, that's physical around us, whatever, only then do we develop that faith. And it could be like inspiration to find something new. It's like, having to really figure out something to invest in emotionally, but everything around you seems crumbling and are unworthy because of the patterns we've invested in before were not worth our time, or we just simply can't go back to them again. Not being able to invest in something that we're familiar with, that we're good at, having to recognize new sense of self-worth and skill, that could be really upsetting. It really takes like faith. When this person is praying to themselves, their higher self to guide them to find an emotional cup with their time and their investment, having to discover a new identity, become a new person. Because being empty or having our spirit or our enthusiasm taken from us, or like our identity and something around us is gone, and having to find a new identity, it takes a lot of work. I mean, has anybody here ever, like if you've been married for a long period of time and you separate, sure, it could feel good at the initial energy to, especially if you initiate the divorce or if you initiate the separation, it feels good. But whether like you find somebody else right away or you take that time period, like eventually after you get away from the turmoil that made you want to separate, or the negativity that made you want to dislike or detach, you're gonna come with this like bottoming out period, and nobody's free of it. Anybody that says they don't experience that is lying. You know what I mean? It's just everybody has those moments where they go to bed alone and they have everything they needed from the situation they experienced previously is gone, and they just have to sit there and re-identify themselves and how much self-worth they had within something else, and it keeps them up at night. What do I do now? And the thing is, you just get it's just so draining, saying like, I only have so much energy. How much more can I really give what I got again? How can I reignite that faith, that intuitivity, and how do I restart that engine to attract something on that level? If I'm not on that level of emotional purity, if I don't have that river flowing, if I feel dammed up, or if I feel drained, like how do I add more? How do I make it, how do I resonate again on a higher level? If only I knew what I was going to be at in a month. How would I be in a month if I just get through today? How would I do it? Is the energy I'm getting. I'm apologizing. This energy is just so murky. It could apply to you in so many different ways. But it just seems to me it's like, almost like, something in your gut gave you a sense, or it's like, a coincidence happened out of nowhere, and you're having to uproot and go, and you have this faith that, that something's going to come, or you just can't recognize yet that's coming into your life, whatever that's going to be, really worth your time. It's just taking its time, and you're wondering if you're going to receive what you're worth of. With the Queen of Cups having like this strong emotional investment in yourself, this strong courage, but needing the world to needing the Pentacles here to give you back charity, and having to rediscover yourself and reinvest yourself emotionally and fill your own cup again and find out which one's worth your time and not something that's fake or another dead end. That's all tricky. And we can see in your advice here is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups to me is, it's the advice. And the advice definitely is, the Knight of Cups, is to keep moving. Go from village to village, spread your love, and don't give up on that enthusiasm. The King of Cups here, the next energy that's more mature. He's able to draw in people because of his emotional maturity. Along with the Queen of Cups, she invests in herself, and so people respect her because although sure, she may not need them and is open about that, saying, I don't need you for my emotional security or my emotional happiness, it's still something to look at in awe, to know that you don't have power over her was what makes her the queen. Whereas the Queen of Cups, the King of Cups, whatever, he's able to attract people because he can interact like this Knight of Cups and go from place to place with that optimism to explore, and being surprised and, going from experiencing failure, experiencing success, but ultimately saying, I'm going to keep on trucking on and find that goal of, filling this chalice and continue moving on. Understand that life just moves on, and you have to have that optimism, because in this card you can see a green forest behind them with nice calm waters to walk on with the white horse of purity of thought, to go in with a fresh sense of just go with the flow. Every day is to be a beautiful green day. Optimism, starting every day off with a positive foot in that optimism to keep on moving forward and saying, okay, well, I tried this, that way I'm going to keep moving. I'm not going to think about how negative it was. All I know is that I tried it and it didn't work, and my focus is on finding the next thing to emotionally invest in. Excuse me, I got the burps. Alright, so we can see here the next card, how people see you, is the Three of Pentacles. And to me, this card is always the card of somebody who's qualified. Qualified for even situations they haven't even finished yet, accomplishments they haven't finished yet. I mean, people around you are recognizing you as a person that can overcome this, because even though they can't see you come out of the situation you're dealing with right now, they recognize that you're capable of doing it. And they're willing to invest in within you, whether it be the money you need, whether it be advice you need, or whether it be you just need a hug you need. They're willing to say, like, you're going to get through this. We know you will. Either we've done it before, or you're going to show us how to do it. You going through the situation is going to teach a lot of people around you that it's not too late. You shouldn't give up. You can eventually evolve and follow the advice of the Knight of Cups and move optimistically from situation to situation. You can't be the Queen of Cups and have strong self-worth and show them the magic of this universe of going through a situation that came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you receive something because of how you hold yourself within yourself. And no matter what the situation you're feeling, is that when it comes, it's so valuable, but it took so long to get there, and it took to the very end of the Seven of Cups, of begging on your knees, and it took you to the very, very final straw, you know what I mean, and you just rediscover your life. I'd seen a story a while back with her about a man that he was about to commit suicide off a bridge, and this police officer or whatever had stopped him from doing it. And I think it was like 2 years later, like they showed like the guy. They showed a picture of him on the bridge with the cop, and they showed the same guy 2 years later wearing like a tuxedo, congratulating the cop on like some award he had, whatever, and it was weird. But at the same time, trying to allow that same concept to go in your head, or whatever, is that the worst of the worst can happen to you, and you can eventually grow from it. And just 2 years later, whatever, the guy is looks much healthier, much happier, and obviously he succeeded and overcame that stuff that. People can learn from that, and saying, wow, I shouldn't give up, because this guy, somebody, all it took was the right words and the right faith. And the Three of Pentacles is these people right here all congratulating you. It's almost like I can kind of see that. So if you feel, depressed, whatever, imagine that person be on the bridge, whatever, and those three people are like, the police, trying to give you that feel, like, hey, it's not worth it, you still have a chance, don't give up, keep going. And, if you just survive, let people, don't hold the faith that people are only recognizing you for things you've done, or will do. Let them recognize you for the process, and just based on your history, that they know you're capable of overcoming any situation, and you're worth investing in. You're definitely qualified, and you'll be qualified, especially after you get through this, to give advice on how they can get through these things in their life, or maybe their loved ones will go through these situations. And especially we live in the information age. I mean, literally, I saw a guy. He was doing realistic expectations to paint your own car. He had no experience, no knowledge. He just went out there and looked up one YouTube video, he said, and bought a sander, bought some primer and bought some paint, and he did it. He even said the whole time, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is the best I can do. And I watched him go through it, and the comments out there were saying, bro, I'm so proud of you for failing, but here's how you do it right, and people were saying, I remember this, and they were able to resonate with them, saying, wow, I remember me doing this at his age and figuring it all out, and that's why I own a painting business now. And people always wonder why. I'm going to use this video to show clients why I charge so much for my price, because you can go home and try this and have these results. And it was awesome. It was not like a mean community. It was a guy coming out front saying, I don't know anything, and people out there that had way more experience than him giving him props for trying, and getting through it and eventually mastering it and becoming better, and making them recognize where they came from, instead of them being critical of how low his skill was. Okay, so the hopes and fears section is that the Queen of Wands here, and so everything you really hope to embody, the prowess and the passion of of your actions, having the Queen of Wands is so powerful for her, the actions she takes towards herself and how it builds upon. People respect her because she knows she's gonna work for herself before she's gonna work for you. And you can't make her move because she's so busy taking time to make herself look good, to make sure that she has everything done for her before she goes for you, is that they can't catch her slipping. Because they can't say, I need you to come pick me up from the airport. And she says, no, I need to, make sure I finish, painting my house. I need to take a shower. I do my hair. I have an appointment. I have work. I have clients. And, you should have made plans with me beforehand. You should allow me to fit you in my schedule. And sure, that can make people think that she's a raging bitch, but I don't think that she's actually the one calling people to fix her situation. I guarantee you, if the Queen of Wands went to the airport, you know damn well that she's going to make sure that she has the means to get somewhere. She's going to have the means to not have to ask somebody else for something to do. Do something for her that she can do for herself. And that's why she's the Queen of Wands. She's the Queen of interaction, self-action, self-respect, you know what I mean? And so this is saying, hoping to have that, hoping to say, I don't have to rely on outside of this charity. You don't want to be the Queen of Wands where you have to beg. The Queen of Wands does not beg for the Six of Pentacles, to the forces, saying, this is how good I used to be. This could all be like the moon here saying like, you need to understand these habits of you giving away your energy or giving away your time or not doing things for yourself first, whatever is really making you critical, because you have that energy of the cups. You have these emotions for yourself of being closed off, and you also don't have to, take anybody else's shit. You're so analytical that your emotions are untouchable because people would think you even have none. And it's like, the Queen of Wands is something you hope for just because you wish you would have taken the time to, learn these inner lessons of yourself, taking more action to make sure you're not so reliable on anybody else, helping other people out, and, using up all your gas, all your time, all your energy for other people or the situations around you. It can be really draining to realize when, now I have to call them up and say, hey, like, remember that time I helped you out, and, I'm going through this right now, and I kind of need you to, like, help me out, and that could be really embarrassing. It could be really like the last thing you really want to do, especially if you're an older person, younger person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're like when I was growing up and we were going to malls and things like that, having to be with your parents, and you're at like the store, whatever, looking around for your other friends from school, and you're at the checkout line, and your mom's putting up your jeans that you have for school, whatever, and they're scanning it, whatever, and the cashiers, some like just graduated high school chick, and she's like like, oh, look who's mommy's buying you clothes or whatever, it's just, it was so embarrassing to have to like do that, and so that's what drove me to start working it's so early, because I was tired of like having to, everything I wanted I had to like go through my parents who allowed me to get whatever I wanted, but at the same time I didn't want to have to go say, it's like, yeah, I want this shirt that says fuck on it, and not that they would say no, it's just I didn't want them to have to do it. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be responsible for my own. I wanted to be older, and I never got to enjoy being a kid because I was so embarrassed to be a kid. But there's something wrong if you have to be a kid at past that age and having to ask people for charity because you're so busy being irresponsible for yourself and being responsible for other people. So on the outcome here, we can see the Page of Cups, and this could be a surprise. And I mean that in a good term. You could be surprised on the best of ways. You can be surprised that if the Queen of Wands is really the key to the ticket, this Knight of Cups, whatever all it takes, that ability to have emotions and go spread them out through other people's. If you have shitty friends or shitty people or shitty things around you, whatever, you need to have that emotional optimism to keep going. What if it just took that you had to start every day as if it's a new day? Stop holding on to grudges, stop holding on to negative situations, don't hold on to a negative or a victim mentality. Just keep on moving. Keep moving forward, and you might be surprised about the results. Instead of praying and staying in stagnation of the Seven of Cups or whatever, understand that you have people around you that are watching you that think you're definitely qualified, and they're looking at you that all they need you to do is just be upfront with them or find them or approach them. There's people out there that within your sphere that, maybe they'll resonate with you better than those around you. And when you can go to new people or new surroundings or new places, and you invest that Queen of Wands energy, and you have all these things or whatever, a lot of people you'd be surprised about the results. And the Queen of Cups energy wouldn't be so like, people wouldn't be surprised if you being so closed off emotionally and they have to ask them for help. That's just what I can say here is that, and the surprise is the moon here. They would be less, they would be less tricky if you just learn how to deal with the unknown. These circumstances that come out of nowhere to teach us a lesson, because we could be doing the opposite of the Queen of Wands energy, doing things, for others but being a bitch about it, and not being able to invest our time in ourselves. And people like that are tricky, especially if you're a person that needs a lot of attention for yourself, but you don't have the time to do it. If you don't have time to do your own hair, if you don't have time to do things that you like for fun, or do things with your time, or be passionate about things that you care about, it makes people nasty, ugly, very unhappy to be around because they're so busy, like, let's do all the things that you want to do, and so don't deal with that. Be surprised about trying a new opportunity. And I think the new advice here that will give you really surprised about the results is the Knight of Cups energy. This is a long reading. So I'm sorry about that one, Gemini. That one's still very cloudy to me. It really didn't come to me as far as like intuitively. It came to me more about just like reading cards and deal with the energy. So hopefully this will give me more information. So logical, Gemini. So logical. Alright, let's do mental energy with 3 cards for you and 3 cards for the world. Okay, you have the Magician in the middle for the world and you. On your side we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, or the Queen of Pentacles, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We have the High Priestess at the bottom. And then for the world side, we have the Six of Swords, or I'm sorry, the Eight of Swords, Death card, the Two of Cups. Alright, the Magician. Right off the bat here, it's all about mastery of the elements, mastery of the mind, mastery of your actions, mastery of your emotions, and mastery of manifestations and things you can do with your time. So I would definitely say here is that that's what it's asking you for. Is that freedom from all this whatever is being, control, having power over these elements, you know, recognizing that as the magician, whatever, he doesn't move with the currents, he moves the currents, or he's outside of the realm of control. He doesn't get tossed within the storm of the planets, you know, he understands the planets and he rules them. That's one thing I heard about the Hermetic principle of, the Hermetic rule of rhythm, is that if you don't rule the planets rule you. And so it's just a better understanding of human life, human nature, the laws, these understandings of these, like, you know, laws within our lives, laws within the world that are lesser known. And this is taking responsibility about all those things. You know, it could be even just, you know, you can do all this stuff that a magician does with a pen and paper. You know, you can write down what you're doing with your time for the wands. You can write down how you're feeling with the emotions. You can write down what you're thinking as well. You know, you can write down, you know, you can make a schedule as far as things that are worth your time. Is this for pleasure, or is this for not for pleasure? Are these things where, like, you know, these purchases I'm doing, whatever, are they going to benefit me, or are they just for a waste of money? Are they good for me? Are they not? Are they for fun? Are they going to benefit me, or it's just throwing money down the drain? And the more you analyze all these things, whatever, the more the magician you can see here is that he's mastering those things by understanding that they exist, isolating them, and then realizing how to hone them for his benefit. Okay, so we go through the cards first on your side, as well as then we go down, it'll be for the world side. So the first card you have is the Knight of Pentacles, and we have for you, the world has the Eight of Swords. I'm sorry, these holographic cards are hard to read with this light. So shiny. So the Knight of Pentacles here, along with the Eight of Swords, to me tells you is that, you know, things in life that are often valuable and good for us come to us very slowly. You know, not having to go back and re-sow over opportunities here. That's why I can see a lot of Capricorn energy again, is that you reap what you sow. And if you're not careful and if you sow in haste or whatever, if you sow very fast, you might make a mistake. And you can go all the way down and finish your work, whatever, only to realize that you messed up, you know, about 2 hours ago with them work. If you ever gone down a place, you know, previously before, you know, GPSs were on all modern smartphones, if you ever had to go through like MapQuest or Google Maps, you know, like honestly I knew every time I was going to deal with MapQuest, I was going to get lost. You know, it's just my personal experience. And I had to go back. I remember one time I was going through and we drove 45 minutes in the wrong direction. You know, we had to pay extra money for a hotel because we just drove too far, too late. And it was just going to take us a lot longer to get to where we're going, and I was exhausted driving. None of my friends at the time had a driver's license, so I couldn't do it. It was either I'm going to fall asleep on the road or we're going to get a hotel. So just understand that Knight of Pentacles, things that come to us that are the most valuable are worth our time. Just realize, you know, if we're smart enough about them and they come to us slowly, they're actually going to not allow us to have to go backwards. And sure, it could be dreadful for them to get there forever, but would you really want that? You know, to get like rushed out, you know, you go to the fast food drive-through and they get in, like, you get your food really fast, but it's low quality and it's sometimes messed up and you don't get everything you ordered or what you paid for. Or would you rather, you know, have a nice home-cooked meal that takes, you know, all afternoon to make, and sure, it's dreadful, you know, having to smell how delicious it is and the preparation work, but finally when you sit down, you know, like for like a Thanksgiving dinner, it's just like, you know, very enjoyable. If you have Thanksgiving in, you know, in your culture, which I think is just America. So I'm just thinking, if you don't have Thanksgiving, just imagine what Thanksgiving would be. Okay, so Americans like us, if you're not from America, watch this video. Americans, you know, we're stereotyped of going through the drive-through. You know what I mean? If you don't have a drive-through in your culture, you know what it is, but you know, we just go through it, we eat fast, and we're a fast culture. You know, we don't sit down and have meals and family dinners. You know, like in France, you know, you guys have your 9 o'clock dinners to midnight and shit like that. You know, over here, it's just, you know, drive through, scarf it down, tell that fool to hurry up. What do you mean I have to wait 15 minutes for my nuggets? You know what I mean? Like, that's just the kind of culture we deal with. And the Eight of Swords energy we can see here on the world side right here is realizing that, you know, that realization will get you out of a mental prison. This understanding of, you know, having to wait for something that's worth your time and is valuable through patience. You know, having this haste makes waste mentality needs to be recognized here, because sure, things that come to us that are worth our time will take forever. But understand that if you only have to wait for it to come to you, you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to go anywhere else, and it's valuable and it's all ready to go and it's perfectly what you asked for. That's going to free you from this Eight of Swords energy. A lot of mental processes go out of your mind. That understanding of that law right there, that the more you focus on something, and the more you want something or whatever, and it comes to you in lower qualities, or it comes to you not at all. That's the characteristic of the magician here. It's the magician understands that, he manifests the pinnacle, the opportunity that's the most valuable, because he controls his mind through the thought forms with the swords. He understands that it's all in his head. This energy lets go of all these mental thoughts and declutters and allows room for things to come in. If he empties his mind, he attracts that Knight of Pentacles to come faster and faster, or it seems faster. He's able to distract himself instead of looking at it. And it's almost like it's like this, it turns to stone the more you search at it. How about that? You look at this Knight of Pentacles right here, you focus on it, you think about it, you think about a relationship, an opportunity, a work job. The more you look at it, the more you're like, it's just gonna sit there. It's like, have you ever stared at a clock before? It just takes forever as you're looking at it. And if you don't look at the clock, it's just time flies when you're having fun, especially. Next card here we can see is the Queen of Pentacles, and then on the Death card on the other side for the World. And to me, it's all about understanding that a welcome end to the suffering you're going through with the Eight of Swords goes away when you invest in yourself, and have things to do with your health. Obviously, hobbies in a sense. What are you doing with your time? What are you investing in? Is what I would say. It's like, are you investing in things you enjoy? Are you investing in something you find worthy, something you can work on and build upon, something you can master, a skill, a hobby, something to spend your time with? Because if the more you find it valuable, the less you stop focusing on an opportunity to come to you. If you create your own opportunities, if you create something that's worth of a unique skill that's unique to your skill set, or something that's recognizing you as being unique, you don't have to work for anybody else but yourself, because you're able to recognize the value you bring to this world. Not everybody here was meant to, be like, a famous person level of, like Nikola Tesla. I'm not saying you have to be world famous to be talented. In fact, a lot of people out there that are super, like, I don't even know the guy's name, but the guy that invented the USB stick, the USB port. We all think of, people that made Windows, or like we made our window, I would say like Android and Apple, things like that. We recognize like Steve Jobs and people like that, but we give no credit to people for that revolutionized. Like, can anybody even name the guy that invented the USB input? USB 3.0. We just use that. All these tools we utilize to create the computer that we take advantage of. We don't recognize those people, but they're absolute geniuses. And that's the Queen of Pentacles. Humble, yet very valuable. And the magician recognizes that, is that just because you're not famous or well known doesn't mean that whatever you're investing in, what you're good at, is unworthy. And that Death card brings a welcome end to the suffering, this mental prison of the Eight of Swords, by realizing that just because people around you aren't constantly saying how good you are, or wow, good job, or you got an A on your paper, honey. The Death card is a welcome end to that suffering. And finally, the High Priestess on your side and the Two of Cups. To me, the High Priestess, whatever, is understanding through really having to experience the highs and lows of life, but realizing it's on the spiritual faith level. Just know that sometimes lessons in life aren't clear for us. They're just, we're supposed to go through experiences to have this understanding of the High Priestess. It's like, she's overwatching you, she's staring right at you, and she's holding this scroll in here. And she has the moon at her feet, saying she's unaffected by the phases because she's in balance between the challenges of the good and bad, realizing there is no middle path, and that underneath us all is this, like, thought process, this ability, this, hidden pattern within us. Some would call it subconscious, I would say, but it's just like, she has a scroll in here that says everything that's coming to pass. All these things that you're supposed to know, you're meant to experience them through ways that make sense just for you. And the sooner you can recognize them, through your experiences, how these things really set. I mean, me doing this reading right now, am I really getting to you? Are you probably, doing something else right now? Are you walking around? Are you cleaning your house? Are you at work? Are you driving in your car? Or are you just laying on your bed, just doing nothing? Are you literally watching me on the vision? Or are you like me, where I just listen to tarot readings as I'm doing something else? The High Priestess is going to find a way to really make these things happen. These lessons to happen, like what I'm speaking of, is going to teach you through a way that you're not going to forget it. Or it's going to put so much pressure where first it's subtle. First it's like something where you don't really notice it, maybe, or it's just not like in your face, and then eventually it's going to strip away everything around you until you focus on that lesson. Or just like, it's just easier just to kill you. If you're not going to get this lesson, whatever, you're probably going to die from the lesson. Like the High Priestess, that's why I would say back in the day, our health expectancy was like 30 years old, because nobody could understand the lessons of a Saturn return. Yeah, but the high priestess knows everything that's going to happen and come to pass, and her lesson is her business is to teach you through good and bad. You can learn and experience the differences and the lessons to grow. You know, kind of like the chariot, using that high priestess energy to move forward and find victory in life. And if we recognize that with the Two of Cups on the world side, it's saying is as soon as you recognize a symbiotic relationship of that, you know, learning to see through signs and symbols, and learning to, you know, take this opportunity to learn from this and say this is not the end. If you start changing your perspective and recognize the importance of mastering these four elements within all of ourselves, but more importantly within you, and taking responsibility, and, you know, learning how to use this process, whatever, you know, the Two of Cups will come, this enjoyment for life, you know, seeing other people as they are, and really being a person that's enjoying life again, you know, being worthy of not just like romantic love, but also just dealing with people to people on a daily basis, you know, learning to be happy for happiness' sake, and also connecting with people around you. So if you feel trapped in this Eight of Swords energy we saw up top, and you feel like this opportunity that's taking forever to come to you is the only thing that's going to get you out of that energy, no, be the magician, be responsible for what you achieve, and you can create the reality you want, you know, and use this Queen of Pentacles energy to invest in that. And this ending will come that's so grateful that you can't look forward to. You won't fear death. It will welcome the transition, the death of a thought process or a life path. And you'll appreciate the High Priestess through this investment, saying, oh, I understand now. I understand if I follow this, my lesson will be complete and these rewards will come. And I'll be able to gain this new sense of love for my life around me. Jesus, this reading is very long. I apologize. Okay, let's finish it up. One oracle card. Better not be authority. Authority's been coming up for the last couple of last signs, so better not be authority. Don't give me authority. All right, give me a card for Gemini. You are special. Right there. You are special. All right. See it? You are special. You may be wondering why it is that indigos are extremely passionate about their opinions. Why do they have such a hard time holding their feelings? Well, they were built to never back down in the face of adversity and imbalance. Indigos have been incarnated at a crucial time in Earth's and human's history to help ensure the survival of both. You are one of these people. This is a very special role in the world. This card asks you to be aware of that. You are very special, Gemini. Like I say, a lot of people find you qualified of the position you're in and the lesson you're trying to learn. Recognize that your lessons are happening through you in synchronicity, and that, you know, people around you may be trying these things, try to tell you these things for years. Maybe this reading I feel like will not resonate with you at this moment, but as soon as you overcome whatever challenges you're facing, I think it will come back and say, oh yeah. And maybe not even me. I'm not saying you have to recognize and overcome and learn these lessons through me, but if you do and you remember this reading, I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure helping you out, Gemini. I will see you next week. Take care.